Welcome to another episode of the Career Mindset Podcast. Today, I'm super happy that I have with me Reni Horvath, the founder of Balance and Core. Reni is an expert in fostering well-being within organizations, and she is also a lecturer at the Université Côte d'Azur. I apologize for my accent. It's in France. And today she's here to bring lots of practical and theoretical insights to the table. So please get ready to explore ways to empower the well-being in today's globalized workforce and uncover strategies for success with Reni. Welcome to the show, Reni. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hi, Fenia. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm great. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm super excited that I have you here because I know that you're gonna talk for a very interesting topic, well-being, and I love doing conversations about this topic, and it's important to talk about these things nowadays. So let's start by sharing with our audience a bit about your journey and what inspired you to create Balance and Core, focusing on workforce well-being.
I believe the story started somewhere in my childhood.
Okay.
I have both of my parents are entrepreneurs. They work in a completely different field. However, they started a family business right when I was born. So side by side, creating a family, they also created. Basically, I have a twin brother or sister as they grew their company, which then became a factory.
Wow.
So it is in the packaging industry. So one thing I learned from them, one of the many, is that I don't mind hard work. I like to work. I enjoy seeing then the fruit of it and taking also the full responsibility that comes with creating your company. And funnily, my parents never wanted me to create my company. So they would love to see me, for example, becoming a lawyer or pretty much anything. They would love to see me working for a company. However, for me, it was never really the perspective. Mm-hmm. And then I went to university. I've been always interested in mainly two things: well-being and cultures, languages. I was born in Hungary, but right at the Austrian border, at a small city. I would say it's a multicultural, bilingual city. So it was natural to me. And also coming from a small, relatively small country, it was always natural to me that I'm thinking, in a multicultural perspective. Mm-hmm. And my parents also taught me that the more languages I speak and the more I see the world, the more passports I have in my pocket. So this then led me to study applied linguistics. So basically understanding how languages function, how we can use language as a tool. Mm-hmm. And then side by side, I also studied health improvement management. Later on, I wanted to learn more about culture, so I became a cultural anthropologist. And today what you can see in Balance and Core is that I am pretty much melanging all these disciplines. So luckily in 2024, we can say that a workforce that feels good, that is healthy, needs a supportive work environment, a supportive workplace culture. And interestingly, I started Balance and Core at the time when I started my career as a university lecturer. So I used to live in various countries, in Canada, in Hungary, in Denmark. And so besides teaching cross-cultural communication, I first of all received requests from companies in speaking about well-being. Mm-hmm. And at this time, because today we can say that Balance and Core is 10 years old. So at this initial, thank you. So at this initial time, actually, I received the requests from organizations to improve the workforce's posture and ergonomics. Pretty much around 10 years ago, 15 years ago, workplace well-being meant physical well-being.
Mhm.
And I literally had to create my company overnight. So first the requests came. I honestly had no time to think about marketing or anything such. And then I had the first client, a bank, another financial institution, and then it developed. The first time when I actually had to think about marketing was when I brought my company to France.
Wow, that's fantastic. An amazing journey. Thank you for sharing it. And I just wanted to stay on your parents' mentality, the importance of traveling, going out, learning different languages, which means learning the culture of the different countries, and how this helped you a lot to be here today, so successful, and having created this amazing project. Um, the balance and core. And as someone deeply involved in both cross-cultural communication and organizational well-being, how do you see these two areas intersecting, and what role does each play in shaping a company's overall health and success?
I believe that we have a shared passion when it comes to communication, because as far as I know, this is also something very close to your heart. And basically, effective communication, effective cross-cultural communication is something that we must have at any workplace. It is really the backbone of any successful organization today. And by culture, I don't just mean the different national cultures, regional cultures, but today we also need to acknowledge that we have different generations present at the workplace. Basically, with having a longer lifespan, we will definitely have an older generation, even generation of baby boomers in executive roles at companies, whereas Generation Z is also on the job market. So we have 4 generations right now with different needs, different goals, different requirements that we need to satisfy. And this comes with improving communication, as well as also the well-being of organizations. So when I speak about communication, I also mean that through an effective strategy, we can work on lowering misunderstandings and create a harmony and integrated work life where we feel comfortable, where everybody feels like everybody can be heard and valued and respected.
Yeah.
And when it comes to well-being, organizational well-being, it is related to employee engagement, work-life integration, and job satisfaction, which we know that is going to be strongly connected to the performance of a company, a greater motivation of the workforce, and also in a higher retention. So basically, how I think about these two areas is that they very much have to work in a synergy. We need them both so that the workplace can work effectively.
Yes, that's fantastic. I totally believe that, especially nowadays with all these different people, different, the baby boomers, all these different generations, it's important to find or create strategies where we can communicate our needs, our differences, our cultures, and we need someone like you to do that. In your experience, what are some common challenges organizations face when attempting to promote well-being into their workplace culture? And how do you approach addressing these challenges in your consultancy work?
There is a few challenges that we can see, and this can be present in various companies and cultures as well, because I am working across different countries in Europe and overseas as well. So this is pretty much something of a global challenge that we are facing right now. It is, on one hand, and this is a big one, it is the lack of leadership buy-in and commitment.
Okay.
It is not enough to have an initiative or think about well-being as something that would be ideal to do. It's really something that we must do. And therefore, we need leaders to be part of any well-being initiative, to participate, to truly seeing them committing to it. So it is not enough to just invite, a motivational speaker or a mental health service provider who can give the service to a team isolated, and leadership team would not take part of it. But they very much need to also show up, show also some vulnerability and commitment, so that all together as an organization can participate in these initiatives. Then another difficulty can come from the challenge of still thinking about mental health as a stigma. As something that we should avoid, not speak about, just because it's too personal, it is not professional, and therefore, and I can understand when in certain workplaces and certain positions, this might also be related to the nature of that given workplace, whether if somebody is going through a burnout or depression, high stress, that can be related to their professional life, but it can also be related very much to their private life. We have no idea how many things are people going through. Let's say a new baby was born, maybe your employee needs to take care of elderly parents, and all these different challenges. So if we can create an environment where we can openly speak about difficulties, and I mean by this, not just on employees at the same level, but also from the leadership team, if leaders can also join in this conversation, and we can normalize these conversations. We can also create maybe a platform for this and share with each other resources. We can look out for each other and identify different signs of stress and burnout. Then another challenge can be work-life integration, creating boundaries, and the workplace that can support creating policies that can help work-life balance, or manage workload, long hours, or simply unrealistic expectations. Then, for instance, lack of employee engagement and participation, because no matter what you offer at an organization, certain developmental tools or trainings might be very welcomed by a part of a workforce, but by some others, it might not be.
Yeah.
And finally, measuring data. It is already a challenge to initiate a well-being program at certain organizations. On the other hand, we would like to maintain it. We would like to have a long-lasting effect, something that is sustainable. Because we cannot forget that although today we would like to create all of these sustainable products and services, but if we forget about our workforce, if we don't think about their well-being as something sustainable, then all those products and services won't be created as fast as we should be.
Amazing. And I mean, it's important to see the role of the leader again here in all these challenges, and how important it's for the leader to join, to be part of the team, to be close to the people in order to help them improve their well-being, their mental health, feel safe in their workplace, be happy, express themselves. And everything starts from the leader. So we need leaders, we need great leaders. It's important.
Indeed. And, it is just so interesting to see all this research data, for example, from McKinsey Institute, Deloitte, Gallup, that discovered in the past few years, but really very recent data, that says that there is clearly a perception gap between the leadership team and the employees, meaning when it comes to job satisfaction or burnout prevention or effective support in mental health, so many leaders still think that employees are engaged. We are seeing here numbers, 85%, 91%, 87% of positive perception from the leaders, whereas numbers are there from the employees' side that 45% of employees today say that they are simply not supported on their mental health. This is a global number. Or 37% of employees think that at the workplace there is no burnout prevention. Now, we can see this huge gap here.
Yeah, and it's sad. So what is something that you would like to say to a leader that may listen to us today in order to start taking action and, you know, come closer to their people, understand their people?
Well, first of all, I would probably highlight the words of Dr. Richard Zafir. I love his work, his books, everything that he's publishing. And basically he's a doctor at Johns Hopkins Medical. And his idea about workplace well-being is that it should be considered as a team sport. Because and this is the year of the Olympics, and we're going to have the Olympic Games here in Paris, and some part of it right here in Nice. So it's quite timely. And what do we need when we think about team sport? We need shared responsibility and a collective effort, so that we can all together think about this, so that we can all think that this is important to everyone. We have a responsibility in looking out for each other, and also for looking out for ourselves. And maybe one more thing, it is that when it comes to leaders, because, you know, leadership roles can be quite isolated. You might feel lonely at times because you have to show up professional every day, and you cannot really show vulnerability. At least this is the perception. This is what society likes to tell us. And it is that, you know, when we go on an airplane, there is the safety instruction. And what do they say there? They tell us that when we don't have enough oxygen, when those oxygen masks are falling down from above, we first need to put our mask on our face and then help others. If we don't think about our own well-being, then we won't be able to help. If we become empty, if we burn out, then we won't have the resources to be there for others. So first of all, it comes from within.
Exactly. It's so important. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I would like you to share some insights into the process of conducting well-being audits within organizations and how the findings from these audits inform your consultancy. Excuse me. So how these audits inform your consultancy services aimed to improving workplace culture.
I find workplace well-being audits as a key tool. And the reason for that is because we do trainings as well. I speak at events, at offsites, at conferences, and I do lots of trainings alongside with organizational psychologists and fellow professionals. However, it is really important to know, what do we need? We cannot serve a need if we don't identify what it is. So the same way, when I have any pain and I go to the doctor is going to do examinations. I might have a blood check and several exams, so that then the doctor will see and identify the problem areas, and we can work on the solution. And this is why I find it so important to do these audits, which start with an initial conversation with the HR department, with leaders, so we can involve a variety of participants in the initial conversation. Then we do an employee survey where we ask everybody, we involve everyone to share their opinion, give a word. Depends on the size of the organization. We can then continue with focus groups. When all this data is in, then we analyze it. And according to this data, I can come up with tailored recommendations. However, and I believe it's very important to continuously measure. So then later on as well, different types of surveys, and we can always adjust. So continuously monitor the progress of the different programs, what is needed, what works best, and what can we work on. Because I also believe that this can help so much on team engagement. If we feel like this is our product, not somebody external tells us what to do, but we can very much as employees give our words and help shape a program, then this can be just, it can feel much more like ours, I believe.
I totally agree. And I love the thing that you talk with everyone from the organization. It's very important of employees to feel that they can be heard and they have someone to listen to them and see the issue from their own perspective. So I love that you just gathering information in order to see the whole picture of the problem and then find the ways to solve this issue. It's amazing. And what are some key strategies or initiatives that companies can implement to foster a sense of shared responsibility for employee well-being and positive change among all members of the organization?
First of all, it would be to make well-being as a core value, so that it would be something among the KPIs, something that we measure. Because if employees are happy and feeling well, feeling like they are well respected, well supported at the workplace, that can create such an environment where we all feel good, where we want to produce more, where we want to give our best. If the values of the individuals and the organization are in line with each other, then there is a much higher engagement. So I would very much start with this, having a shared vision on what are we heading towards. Then thinking about employee participation, as I mentioned already regarding the audits, but also regarding any later training program or creating of resources.
So having a shared vision, and I know that it's important. I understand that people in an organization need to have a vision, the same vision, to follow something altogether, to know the big why I work, why do what I do here in this company, in order
Yes,
to be
exactly.
more motivated and work better and improve myself and develop my skills and achieve the targets of the company. It's important people to understand the why by explaining every time the vision and the mission of the company and the values as well, right?
Indeed, exactly. And it is also that when we offer something that is needed, that people can feel like this is what they want, that they are interested in, there's going to be a much higher engagement.
True. Fantastic. And last one, how do you envision the future of workplace well-being evolving with all these shifts in work dynamics nowadays and all these global trends? And what role do you see balance and core playing in shaping this future?
Well, it's a very interesting question and a tricky one as well, because as we see day by day, everything is changing.
Yeah.
The only constant is the change. So I believe that whatever we work in, we need to have a good flexibility in our fields. So basically, regarding the future of a modern workplace, the future of work, I would think that although certain companies like to bring their employees back to the office, however, it is a real need to create flexible work environments, hybrid work, or remote work. I believe that these questions are important to take under consideration in combination with the variety, the diversity of the employees. Some actually enjoy going to the office, but for some it might be a time that they cannot spend with their family as they commute. So really have to see to whom is it supportive to offer remote options and who would really like to go every single day to the office. None of it is bad. We just have to see in what ways we look at it. However, when it comes to in-office environment, we still need to think about team connections, social connections, workplace climate, so that we don't just sit next to each other, but we can actually connect and engage in deep conversations, so that we can foster this environment. And when it comes to remote teams or hybrid work, we need to look into solutions, how we can connect each other across cities and countries and different time zones, different languages as well, because English is not the first language to everyone.
Of course.
So combating social isolation and all these technological challenges, asynchronous communication as well. And where balance and core is in this game, well, I would say pretty much with measuring data, this data-driven approach, trainings. And I am actually thinking about some tools as well that we can hopefully create in the next couple of years. So I cannot tell you about this yet,
Okay.
maybe in some years, but I'm definitely thinking about a technical tool as well that we can make it part of the portfolio.
That's fantastic. I understand that so the very first step is having some conversation within the company, within the team, in order to understand how we can help each other and become even more flexible, listen to the needs of the people around us, create spaces where everyone can feel safe, where everyone can feel comfortable, take into account the requirements and other issues, other needs, other different cultures, different languages. So it's important to understand, to get to know the people of the team. Thank you so much for sharing all these important insights. Do you have anything else to share? Any last advice for the leaders or the companies and people who listen to us?
I would just repeat what I mentioned before. Put your own mask first, and then please think about workplace well-being as something shared, as a team sport. So something where we all have a responsibility towards each other, and we can foster a great, well-working workplace culture.
Thank you for this important reminder. We need to hear that again and again, and we need someone to remind it to us because we tend to forget to take time, take care of ourselves, look at our own well-being, first of all, in order to be able to help our team and the people in our company. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing all these important things with me and our audience. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope all of you out there enjoyed this episode and speak soon. Bye.
Bye.